The 2020 Investec Super Rugby competition is proudly brought to you by Placemakers.
It's O Week in Dunedin as the Highlanders look to give the Scarfies something to celebrate in the Glasshouse. The Zoo is caging the latest generation of Highlanders fans who mightn't remember the whole game, but will cheer for a team that showed plenty of heart last week. They should be wary of Wallabies playmaker Matt Tamua as he's thrust back into a Rebel side loaded with strike weapons.
Ran a beautiful line.
But before they fire a shot, we'll go inside the Landers camp with Josh Ioane. Is he starting to gel in his combination with Mitch Hunt? We'll also hear from coaches David Vessels and Mark Hammett, as well as rising Landers star Marino Makaeli-Tu'u.
Lounging around was a hobby, you know, that was my hobby.
Tonight's side's desperate to kickstart their Super Rugby campaigns, so let's set the scene with Bernardine Oliver-Kirby, Kane Hames and Justin Marshall.
The magnificent Forsyth Bar Stadium in Dunedin is going to ignite tonight. Not just with rugby action, it is O Week. The students are back and you just know that they're going to get loud. So you can guarantee plenty of colour on and off the field as the Highlanders try to put one away at home against the Melbourne-based Rebels. Both teams desperate for a win, both teams desperate to stay in the Super Rugby hunt. It really is a brilliant ground. It's been 32 degrees under the roof today, and you know there'll be a real energy in the crowd. Good numbers expected tonight, especially in the area affectionately known as the Zoo. A venue, a crowd that even has the opposition talking. Welcome into Sky Sport. Great to have your company live from Dunedin for round 5 of Super Rugby action. Welcome in also to Justin Marshall and Kane Hames. We talk about the Zoo. Not too sure how much experience you both have there. I know you've played in front of it. Justin maybe won't say too much. What is special about this place?
Well, I actually have spent some time in the Zoo when the British and Irish Lions were here. And,
no doubt.
I tell you what, it's if the rugby's not entertaining, the Zoo is. But look, the fact that the Highlanders can come here, play under the roof, know their conditions is a huge advantage, which is what makes this stadium so very great. Same conditions every time they turn out.
Former Highlander, you know all about it.
Yeah, I love this place. I've actually had quite a few debuts here. Mitre 10 Cup, I debuted here for Bay of Plenty. Highlanders, I debuted here, and then had my commentary debut here. So I love this place, and I know the Highlanders do too. So it's good to be back, and I'm excited.
All right, so Highlanders tonight, they've had a loss. Do you think they're tracking in the right direction despite their loss last week to the Crusaders? Are we making the gains that we should be seeing?
Oh, look, I think if we're brutally honest, no. Look, they're underperforming. I think they were always going to suffer from the players at Exodus, you know, and they were quality players. But I would have thought that they'd be playing better rugby. They've got the worst attack in the comp. And when you've got the likes of Tony Brown and Aaron Major at the helm, you would have thought that they would have been better at attacking and they would be able to put some tries together. They've really struggled. So they really need to up their game big time this evening.
Yeah, and that's the mastermind that you see on screen. Well, of course, Aaron Smith and Tony Brown just before that. And you're right, Marshy, I completely agree with you. When you've got the mastermind, Tony Brown, running your attack, you'd expect it to be a whole lot different. And Tony Brown of the past, he would kick a lot more. Why would he kick a lot more? Because first phase rugby is what he lives for. A lot of that transition play where the Rebels have just finished attacking, where they've just finished defending, kick the ball to them, get a first phase, pressure them, let them kick the ball back and then attack off that. So
it's pressure on everyone, but how much of a pressure game is it going to be for the Highlanders? Because they must win. They're on the road next, and that's going to be tough. You've got South Africa and you've got Argentina next.
Yes, and dropping your first home game, you know, Super Rugby's tough enough. So when you get your home venue, you've got to get those wins in. Losing to the Sharks, not great. First time round here at Forsyth Bar Stadium. So it's massive for them. Going on the road is never easy, especially South Africa. So it's vital they win here at home tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Tough trips, thousands of kilometres to go, different time different time levels overseas, and it's just going to make it so much tougher if you don't nail all your home games. Top 14 in the French competition you've played there, they focus just on winning the home games, and that's normally enough to get them to the quarters. So Highlanders do the same here. They're going to set themselves up for when they travel.
Well, they're going to be relying very heavily on some of their key players. Josh Ioane, he is a good distributor. He's handy with the boot. He is sideline with Willie Losey. He's plucked them out from warm-up.
Yeah, thanks, Bernie. Alongside here with Josh Ioane. And Josh, you've played against the South African, New Zealand and Australian backline. Now, is there a big difference between the teams?
I feel like we've made it about us and our backline and how we can work and what works and what doesn't. And obviously, these backlines that we've come against have got a lot of threats, and I don't think it's changed depending on what backline. There's a lot of threats in this game, and it's no different today.
Your combination, it's a new one, obviously, with Mitch and Rob on the outside. How have you found it over the last 3 weeks, or I suppose even longer?
Yeah, I feel like it's some really good stuff. You continue to keep growing that, and yeah, I feel like there's some good stuff that's come from it, and obviously a few challenges that we're facing, and yeah, I guess tonight's another opportunity that we can work on that.
Can you get the win tonight?
Sure, yeah, we can.
All right, Josh, thanks for your time. There you go, Bernie. Those are his thoughts. Now back to you.
Did I sense some hesitation there? You could drive a bus through that pause.
Are you going to win tonight? Yeah.
No, I tell you what, JK did this to me on the breakdown this week, where he asked you a question that he had no idea that was coming. And Josh Ioane, wonderful player, just got asked that rough question, got surprised. But I tell you where he doesn't struggle with his confidence and where it's not rough and where it's all instinct is here on the field. You can watch him playing at 12. I know there's a ton of questions around it, but look at him go. He's playing some pretty good footy.
He's a dangerous player, and we can see by these clips that he's got the potential not only to set up tries but to break the defence open as well. It's one of those conundrums, isn't it, where the coaches are trying to get all their best players on the field at the same time, and I think they feel assured enough that with Mitch Hunt at first, 5, and Josh Ioane able to slot in as a first receiver, that works. I don't think that it's a compromise. I actually think he's got some real potential in that position.
How does the player digest that, though? Because, is that hard to switch the mindset? He wants to be 10, he's played 10.
Yeah, well, I think for me, because every time you sort of ask a young fella or you ask a professional guy to change position, first and foremost, they must want to do that. I know growing up, I was a bit smaller. Someone said, why don't you play hooker? The truth is I just didn't want to, and I know that I was going to play very good at loose head because that's where I wanted to be. If Josh Ioane has been told, you must play here for the betterment of the team, I'm not sure how that's going to go for him, but if he genuinely wants to play there, I think he's going to play well.
And the game's really changed. Like back in the day, we were finding places for, Mertz will love me for this, hiding him somewhere from defending, usually out the back. But
you're not saying Mertz can't tackle,
no,
are you?
well, I'm saying 10s nowadays can. We'll put it that way. And Josh is a very good defender, so that risk is alleviated when you've got somebody that can slot in attacking-wise, but also defensively.
And do both. So we're talking about the combination of Mitch Hunt and Josh Ioane. That is something that the coaches are definitely set on. Do you think they're forming that combination? Do they have, let's say, some chemistry?
I think so. Look, I think the fact that you also add the 9 into it with Aaron Smith, who looks like he's trying to do everything, and so he should. He's coming up on near 100 Test matches for the All Blacks, so all that experience is vital. And then when you sort of swap in Josh Ioane into 12 and the combination with Mitch Hunt, who's new, you've got to have synergy. I think it's been okay. At times I've questioned how much they've kicked the ball away between the 3 of them. You've got 3 guys who like to kick the ball. You've got to do a little bit more running with ball in hand when you've got them all in those first and second receiver options.
Yeah, and I'll add on top of that too, because I know that you've been frustrated when you see a couple of breaks and all of a sudden they're kicking it away. I don't think they should be kicking on the breaks, exactly right. Where I think they could be kicking is a little bit more in general play.
Yeah, well, a change up there, and like the Highlanders, the other team, they've had some big changes as well. They've lost some big names. Let's see how Dave Vessels is shaping up before the match. He's chatting to Willie.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. How's the week been?
It's been good. We always enjoy coming to Dunedin. It's one of those special places, I think, in Super Rugby. So I'm looking forward to the game.
More focus on what you do as a team, or how have you analysed the Highlanders?
Yeah, it's one of those short weeks for us. It's a 6-day turnaround, and there's obviously connecting flights to get here. So you don't have a huge amount of training time in that time. So I think a smart thing to do is just to put the focus on yourself and try to do the things that you're trying to do as best you can.
One thing we do know about this Rebels side is that you love to attack, in particular the first half. How do you make sure that you can maintain that through the second half?
Yeah, I think, Willie, we probably feel like we've actually finished games probably stronger than we've started them in recent times. And I think we probably feel like we've improved week to week. So the big challenge for us is to take another step up this week and I think this game and next week's game against the Lions will really set our season up if we can perform well.
We wish you well, Coach. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for this.
Oh, there will be some big muscle flex by the Rebels, big men tonight. Isi Naisarani, he's leading the charge. He's had more carries than anyone in the entire competition.
Yeah, well, Isi Naisarani, he's a Fijian boy, and what that naturally seems to give you is you're a good carrier. In fact, if you're Fijian, you play two positions. You play whatever position you've been told to play, and you play wing, and you have the skills of that as well. Isi Naisarani on screen, I'm looking for a big game from him tonight.
How do you begin to counter? How do you well, as a back, I'm not sure, Justin, but how do you begin to the power and the punch?
Well, I think more than anything, when you've got a player like this who's got balance, it's always difficult to counter that, because it's all very well to be leading the comp in carries, but if you're not doing the other side of it, then the rest of the team's suffering. So not only is he carrying and offloading well, he's also doing his work defensively. He's in over the ball. The first couple of clips we showed there was some of his defensive work. Yes, this is a strength, no doubt about it, but what they are relying on him for, though, and the stats reinforce that, is to do the majority of their carrying in the loose forwards, which means if you're looking at this in an analysis perspective from the Highlanders, you target him. Get one guy on him low, two guys up high, and then who's going to volunteer after that if nobody else is doing the work?
All right, Matt Tamua is returning. He had a groin injury last week. He is going to be key in their attack tonight.
Yeah, Matt Tamua, it's good to have him back. He's world class, isn't he? Spent a lot of time overseas with Leicester, and you can see what he adds to the Rebels. So with Quade Cooper going, with Will Guinea going, by no means are they weak. They've got Matt Tamua in behind, adding a lot of class to this team, and it's good to have him back to the Rebels.
And his decision making. Like, I watched the Rebels play this year, and they're very capable, and their backline reinforces that this evening. It's a very good backline. What's been lacking is the right direction at the right time and taking the right options. They've lost that experience, as you mentioned, of Cooper Guinea. Tamua will offer them all the right decisions to complement that backline and the good ball the forward pack gets.
Well, his teammates have described him as commanding. Isn't that exactly what you want in a number 10?
Yeah. Well, we've already seen this with the Chiefs. Aaron Cruden is exactly the same. He is demanding, and what that does, because you've always got the coaches in the background being demanding, they want a product, they need results. But when you've got the players doing it, it just seems to carry a lot more weight. Justin, I know that you were very commanding when you played in your career. I've heard through the grapevine. So you'll be able to touch more on that, I'm sure.
Oh, well, look, I appreciate the word commanding instead of greedy and angry. I'm just going to leave it at that. Thanks, Kane.
Now, I know, Justin, you want to see the Highlanders hang on to the ball a little bit more. They're going to have to be very disciplined with their kicking game tonight.
Yeah, well, at your peril, you kick the ball away to very good teams that are great on the counter-attack, and the Rebels are. They've got a good back three. Last week, the Highlanders, I thought, gave too many opportunities to a great back three in the likes of Bridge and Harveli and Sevu Reece. Well, equally dangerous this evening are the likes of Corum Bete and also, Dane Haylett-Petty. They can carry really well. So the Highlanders' kicking game needs to be accurate, needs to be on point, and they need to kick to get it back.
Yeah, well, Tony Brown, definitely, when he was coaching the kicking game, he wanted two things. One, it hits the grass. Or two, when it's on the way down, you have a Highlanders player chasing and ready to catch it as well. So if the Highlanders don't do that tonight, the back three of the Rebels are going to have a field day.
Well, the Highlanders have not lost to the Rebels at home, so history would say they're looking good. But what do the numbers say? Mark Stafford from the TAB, hit us with it.
Yeah, look, it's a little bit of a piccolo price for the Highlanders, isn't it? $1.18. It's pretty small, and a bassoon price for the Rebels at $4.85. The margins there, the favoured way is the Highlanders, I guess not surprising, at $1.91. That's the favoured way, and big dollars available on the Rebels in both the margins. Couple of featured markets. Who's going to win? Well, do the Highlanders win the most possession and territory? Fair price given the short favourites, $2.25 for them to do that. And Josh Ioane probably prefers the 10 jersey. I think he's better in it, but more of a chance of tries in the 12 jersey. First, second or third try to Josh, that's at $5.
Just as well you're not coaching, Staffy. I know you have a special, I don't know what it is. Share it with us.
Okay, I will. And it is the two wings, Nareki and Josh Mackay, to combine for 3 or more tries. And let's face it, it's a try-scoring stadium. 3 or more tries is currently $4. It's going to be $5 until kick-off. If the Wings can do it, you'll get a win.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, it's not just great advice with the odd flutter that we can deliver here at Sky. World-class tally, something for everyone this week. How about this for something different? Trucking hell. Trucking hell, you wouldn't want to get that wrong, would you? Catch that little gem for a season premiere on Tuesday at 8:30, Sky Sport 5. And let's hope the Black Caps can produce another clinical display and wrap up the second test against India. That's live from Hagley Oval in Christchurch tomorrow from 11 a.m. Catch all the action on Sky Sport 2. Marino Mikaeli Tu'u, he is just 22 years old, but already he's made a huge impact at number 8 for the Highlanders this year. He is in form and he is a tantalising prospect for the future.
I debuted in 2018. I got a phone call the day before the captain's run, and I was over the moon. I barely knew the players, and I was like, yeah, sweet as, I'm over everything. I was just keen as to play.
Another packed house. We are ready to rumble in Dunedin.
But then it came to the game, and it was against the Stormers. The zoo was packed out, and you're playing against Springboks. We had Ben Smith, Aaron Smith, likes of those guys, so I was a little starstruck.
Oh, they're running right now. Highlanders in again.
Yeah, one of the greatest moments of my life. I was born in Wellington, and I moved to Hawke's Bay when I was about 9 or 10. It's a great place, you know, Mum and Dad are there, and that's home, that's where the heart is. I went to Hastings Boys High School, and some kids have hobbies and other stuff they do. If like, lounging around was a hobby, you know, that was my hobby. Until maybe when I was 13, 14, then I started going to trainings and playing footy with my friends. I was a lot bigger than a few of the other kids, and thought, you know, maybe I could give this a real crack.
Black is the new goal as New Zealand win their 6th title in Georgia. The Baby Blacks of New Zealand are back on top.
That was one in a lifetime experience. I'll probably speak on behalf of all the boys. It was a pretty good team. Majority of those players are in Super Rugby teams now. Luke Jacobson, Safo, Aomoe at the Hurricanes, Dalton up in the Blues. By far one of the best trips I've been on, 100%. Moving down to Dunedin, I didn't really know what to expect. I ended up living with Shannon Frizzell. Yeah, so it was his first year as well, and I think that made it a lot easier, you know. It was awesome living with Shannon. I remember one time we decided to learn how to surf, and I think that would be the last time we'll ever try that again. It was pretty shocking. No, we were both terrible. So my first year coming into the Landers environment, you've heard of all these big names like Ben Smith and Aaron Smith. Once you train with them and get to know them, they're just normal people. They welcome me with open arms. The way they train, the way they went about things, I just try to soak up. We've had a few players leave, big names actually, likes of Liam Squire, Luke Whitelock. So I guess it's just another opportunity for the guys that have come in, the likes of myself.
Nice move here by Mikaeli Tu'u. Lovely run.
What makes a good loose forward? I think impacting the game, both attack and defence. If that's a big run or if that's a big hit.
Very impressive run again. Carrying the ball outstandingly well.
This year, I'm just looking to get some minutes under my belt. There's room for improvement, but so far, you know, I'm just happy to get the minutes that I've got and just play my game and see where it takes me.
Marino Mikaeli Tu'u, he has had an impressive start to the season, hasn't he?
Yeah, Marino Mikaeli Tu'u, he talked about it. He's lived with Shannon Frizzell. He's obviously learned off Liam Squire and Elliot Dixon as well. So he's learned a good amount of things from those senior players, and now it's his chance. And has he taken his chance? Yes, Marino Mikaeli Tu'u has started a number of games this year. This is his 3rd chance, and I'm sure he'll nail it. Now, what I'm interested in was Te Ariki Ben Nicholas came off the bench and performed pretty well too. Not on the bench this time. Manaki Selby Rickett gets his chance, but Marino Mikaeli Tu'u looks the goods.
This is going to be a huge game for the Highlanders. The crowd is building. James Lynchus also had a good game against the Highlanders last week. Not only as a player, but also as a leader. He's balancing that captaincy nicely.
And some players thrive in that environment, others don't. And when you get that responsibility, it can make you, I guess, in that position a little apprehensive, because you don't want to be leading the team and being penalised. But Lynchus is a very good player. He's got a very good amount of maturity about him, and I like the way that he played last week. He still got stuck in. He still took a gamble when he needed to, and you know, he's an excellent leader for them so far this season.
Well, the Highlanders are hoping that their plan comes together. One of the men helping formulate that plan is Mark Hammett, and he's with Willie Losay.
Mark, what have you worked on this week?
Oh, probably sort of finishing and staying in the on for longer periods. We were pretty happy with a lot of our game last week, particularly in the second half, but we just had some soft moments. So, you know, that have been some of the things we've been working on.
The loss last week, but the win against the Brumbies, what do you look at? How the Australians play, or is it more about how this Highlanders team attack?
Oh, look, often the biggest part of our week's about ourselves, but of course we're up against the Rebels who score a lot of tries from structure. They probably play a bit more than we've seen a lot of teams in this competition so far, so, you know, they're a danger because of that.
They haven't beaten you in a wee while, so has that been spoken about during the week?
No, look, not really. We're obviously a young team, you know, looking to impose our game and the balance within our game. So, yeah, pretty focused on ourselves.
Be great if the zoo picks up and you get the students in tonight.
Oh, I think it'll be pumping tonight, 32 degrees. Someone's telling me right now, so no, it'll be awesome.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Great, thanks.
Mark Hammett there. Well, the coaching staff have said that they feel like they're close, they're moving in the right direction, but are they moving quickly enough?
Well, we alluded to it earlier on, and I feel quite strongly about it that, yes, they made some significant changes last week in the right direction, no doubt about it, but still they weren't nailing down those small opportunities that they're creating. So, yes, right direction, but I still feel they need to get a lot ruthless. That experience that they are missing from last year is not turning around into being ruthless when they need to take points. So they're going to have to grow up big time this evening if they want to improve.
And is that about mitigating some of those soft errors? You know, little things like timing, the kicks.
Yeah, well, I guess that's one of the things. A lot of the news coming out of the Highlanders pre-season, they were running 45-kilometre weeks. They spent a lot of time on their feet. Now, that's fine, they'll be fit, but now Super Rugby is about a lot of the detail. And if you are running 45 kilometres a week, you might not get as much time as with the man on screen you see now, Tony Brown, working on that detail. Is that showing up in their game at the moment? Most probably.
Right, Josh Mackay and Jonah Nariki, two men who love to find the try line. They've had outstanding Mitre 10 Cup campaigns, young men really at the beginning of their careers.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think Josh Mackay, the jury was out about which position he was going to play. His schoolboy career he was at 10, but they've already shown that they've got a lot of depth there with Josh Ioane having to play 12. So his injection last week was on the wing, and I thought he was excellent. He can play fullback equally as well. So it's how he combines with Nareki and also Michael Collins. When he injected himself into the game last week, it was very good. Nareki is an outstanding player. He just is not seeing the ball enough, I don't think, Kane.
Yeah, I agree, because every time he's touched the ball, you see him on screen now. He is doing stuff with it. So I would like, you're exactly right, if it's a team game, every single one of you get the ball to Jonah Nareki. But Josh Mackay had a really strong Mitre 10 Cup season. I haven't quite seen that form yet, so this is his chance tonight in the 14 jersey, and I would like to see Jonah Nareki, Josh Mackay race to see who's the fastest.
Well, interestingly with Mackay, he is the 4th player in 4 weeks to wear the number 14 jersey. Is that a good option to have, or could that be a problem area that they haven't really settled on who can contain that jersey?
It's a good point you make. I think it's a snowball effect of their attack. You know, the fact that they haven't been able to, yes, they've created the odd opportunity, but they haven't been able to turn them into points. They need genuine finishes. And I think the one thing that Mackay will do is if he gets a chance, he'll back himself to get to the chalk. So, you know, that's probably what they're after, and he's got his chance tonight.
Well, Mackay, he's played both wings and fullback. He's one of those ultimate utilities. We talk about Nareki as well. Just unbelievable. He provides that combination, doesn't he? He's got great footwork and what a left boot as well.
Yeah, it's cool because he's got that sevens background, so he is all out attack. But now he gets to use that left boot that you speak of and really sort of show that set of skills that he has in the 15s game. You can see him on screen now. He's going through his warm-up paces, mouth guard in. It is time to go.
All right, well, from the Jazz hands out wide to where the mahi is done up front. Justin, this is probably where you can league it. Go and have a cup of tea and lie down, because Kane, you will be all over this. The big boys.
I guess, pace, power, skills, and pretty good looking as well. Yes, I am talking about the front row. So head to head here, you can see the forwards, pack caps on the screen. Very even, I guess, but where the experience takes over the front row caps, you can see on the Highlander side 237. So who are we talking about? We're talking about Dan Leonard-Brown. We're talking about Jermaine Ainsley, the tight, who's got 50 caps. Ash Dixon, who has captained just about everyone. And then Siate Tokolahi, who has played a lot of time. And Ash Dixon, who you see on screen, is going to be big tonight. He gets his chance on a rotation. Liam Coltman on the bench. Ash Dixon, he will be looking to stamp his mark tonight, former leader, and it's time to see whether he is the best two in the Highlanders.
You know, 100% success rate for the Highlanders from their own scrum feed. Only the Hurricanes and the Stormers can boast that same clean record. But the forward pack, almost a heritage brand for the Landers, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it goes to Clark Dermody. Clark Dermody has done some wonderful work with the Tasman Muckle, and he's also done some wonderful work with the Highlanders. But this is what they are coming up against. The Rebels do not mind keeping the ball in and scrumming for penalties, and a lot of their tries have come off it, but then swap over to the Highlanders. You can see them walking a quality team backwards, and this was wonderful from Siate Tokalahi, who had a great scrum there against the Sharks, powered through them. He could do that again tonight.
Well, Kane, you've been a Highlander, you played plenty of matches. How many extra points is the home crowd worth, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was worth plus 20 against the Sharks, but that's not the way it turned out. Two teams are coming here and they're not having the year that they want. Here at Forsyth Bar Stadium, things could change for one of those teams, and me being a former Highlander, I hope it's for the Highlanders.
Who are you picking?
Highlanders.
Highlanders all the way. There you go. Kane Hames has spoken. We are almost set for kick-off here at Forsyth Bar Stadium in Dunedin for this round 5 clash. The Highlanders hosting the Rebels. The Landers, look, they may have lost the last encounter between these two teams almost a year ago, but they have never lost to them at home. Can the boys from the Highlands sustain the hometown pressure from the Highlanders? Your commentators Tony Johnson, Justin Marshall and Willie Losey sideline. They're set for a start. You need to be too. Super Rugby action from Dunedin, live on Sky right after this.